Hello, everybody. Good to see you all. Oh, here comes Ava. Good to see the Ava. Come on. Oh. Oh, she's so darn cute. I don't know how I got so lucky. Hello, Nana Laura. Hello, C-Rex. And thank you for checking out the Discord. And Nana Laura, thank you for posting your family on there. I love when we all share our personal lives outside of YouTube together. Yeah. There we go, Ava. Get some spunk in that jump. Hello, Catherine Gaston. That is so adorable. That means they were good. Hello, Mortimer Duke. I have a special surprise for you, but not tonight. I'll DM you about it later. Hello, Spider-Man, honey. Ava, your big butt's in the way. Come on. Oh, I don't know what this is. I got no idea. None. No clue. It's, it showed up today with a wing and a prayer. More like Bubba Bubba. All right, guys, let's figure out what this is real quick. Oh, by the way, I forgot to say it, so I'm gonna say it now. S. Buford, thank you so much for the kitty litter. Yes, it absolutely will be used, and it's my favorite one. I got a box and it said heavy. I couldn't even carry it in the house. I had to have my friend carry it for me, and yeah. I opened it right there because it wasn't coming in here. It's a present. It's got tissue paper. It's got a big bag. It's wrapped. It's a present. It's got a box for the kitties. It's a box in a box in a box in a box. It is a coin collector holder. Oh my! You guys, look at this beautiful compass on it. Oh my goodness. Oh my. You probably already have one, but here's a new one. Hope you enjoy it. I'm glad you can enjoy your old hobby from Palmyra Productions. Oh my gosh. Oh, no, this one is unique to what I have. I don't have one like this. I don't. This one has 12 currency sleeves Currently, I'm using a book. Not a currency book either. Yeah, I have a book that I've told my daughter where it is, what one it is. But this has actual sleeves for dollars. For when I find ones with unique serial numbers or misprints or things like that. Army Brat, I wore your favorite color tonight, sweetie. Hello. And hello, Mr. Man. Little man. That's his new kitten, is Little Man. Oh no, I just ripped the cardboard box. Oh, I'm fired. I'm just too excited. This is beautiful, guys. Look at the binding. Oh my gosh. I love it so much. And I can add sleeves to this one. And it's got an anchor on it. Oh my gosh, you guys. Oh my gosh. And it's got a steering wheel. Oh my. These are the 2x2 pocket sleeves. And then it's also got the bill sleeves for currency. This is amazing. This is so much better than I've ever seen. I love it. Thank you so much. Oh, I love it. I'm going to slide it right back in here for the moment. Oh, gosh. That is so beautiful. There we go. Golly, that is so beautiful. Now I gotta put the tissue paper where the kitties won't get it. There's no such place. Oh my gosh. Sorry, forgive me. I'm still dealing with the respiratory stuff. I used my inhaler and I took 3 different kinds of antihistamines and yeah. Oh, is it dude? Is it dude now? Sorry. Oh, your little dude is so cute. I don't like the lightweight stuff. For me, that goes everywhere. But I love Tidy Cat, the original red one. If I don't get that, then the second choice is Arm & Hammer Multi-Cat. Yeah, those antihistamines aren't causing dry mouth or anything, are they? But it's got to be the Multi-Cat. The double duty is a no-no. Not for me. But the Multi-Cat is great. There was one. It was put out by Fresh Step. And it had larger stones, crystals. And it was intended for non-tracking. And it worked so great. The one problem, the Febreze that they partnered with was so overpowering. If my cat used the litter box and then came next to me, I couldn't breathe. It triggered my asthma, and they stunk so bad, like Febreze, so strong. I couldn't continue using it. I wish I could find one with that thickness of the litter. but not scented like that. Man to dude. He's cute no matter what. And he's going to be a feisty little one. I'm so happy you have him. He's going to brighten every day. That's just what they do. That's what they do. All right, tonight we've got Judge Ricke, and then we've got Judge Hart after Judge Ricke. And there is a special appearance by Judge Hutchinson because I had to FTC. Just had to. Anytime a judge says, you know, oh, they were here on such and such date, and so judge said this or that, I just have to see if I have that, because it's fun to see what they say versus what the docket notes say. Yes, please. All right, guys, let's get into this.
April Lynn Lyman. It's case number 2024 CR 396. Brett Sweeney appears for the state of Kansas. Darren Patterson is defense counsel. April Lyman appears from the Butler County Detention Center Zoom location. Matter comes before the court at this time for further hearing in regard to a warrant to show cause alleging probation violation. Court notes that this defendant was sentenced back on March the 4th on possession of marijuana and possession of paraphernalia charges with a 6-month consecutive sentence that was imposed for an overall controlling sentence of 12 months. Allegations including failing to report as directed, failing to make payments, not providing proof of an alcohol and drug evaluation, had law enforcement contact and did not report it, and then her reported address was incorrect. Mr. Patterson, what announcement is made regarding these allegations?
Your Honor, I have discussed these allegations with Ms. Lyman. I would tell the court she is going to waive hearing. She is going to stipulate that she did violate the terms of her probation.
Very well. April Lyman?
Yes.
Your attorney has made an announcement that you would waive any due process hearing that you'd otherwise be entitled to, where the state would have the obligation of proving these allegations by a preponderance of the evidence. You do have the right to challenge the state's evidence, to present your own evidence, have the advice and assistance of a lawyer, and confront the state's witnesses unless good cause was shown. Among other lesser remedies, the court could consider just an outright revocation of your probation and having you serve the remaining balance of your sentence locked up. Do you understand these things?
Yes, Your Honor.
And do you now waive any hearing in the case and stipulate and agree that you committed the violations as outlined on the record earlier by the court?
Yes, Your Honor.
Very well. Court finds that the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived a hearing in this case and stipulates and agrees that she committed the violations as alleged. They are significant and substantial and material violations of the terms and conditions of her probation. I'm going to ask for recommendations regarding an appropriate disposition. I will begin with Brett Sweeney on behalf of the state of Kansas.
Your Honor, the state is recommending a 3-day jail sanction and then asking that she be placed back on. I don't know. I didn't discuss this with Mr. Bauer, but she might need maybe a bump up to community corrections. I don't know that that was necessarily negotiated with Mr. Patterson either, but essentially the state's recommendation is 3 days and then back on probation with the same and previously ordered conditions. I believe that she's been in, and Mr. Patterson, correct me if I'm wrong, April 28th, awaiting hearing on this warrant. She's done little to nothing on the probation. That's all I have, Your Honor.
Mr. Sweeney, are you aware that whether or not she has a felony action in which she's being supervised by community corrections?
I don't believe that she does. Now, Mr. Bauer may know this, but I believe that she's got some sort of involvements over in Sedgwick County. Now, I don't know if that just includes pending charges or whether there's supervision over there or not.
Mr. Bauer, do you know?
Your Honor, I'm unaware of her being on any felony supervision at this time. And since this was a misdemeanor case, she's not on felony supervision in our district. I don't know that a change to community corrections is something we can do at this point. Even if she was on community corrections in Sedgwick, they're a different district, so we wouldn't really be able to make them take a misdemeanor case from our district.
Thank you, Mr. Bauer. Mr. Patterson, your recommendations regarding an appropriate disposition here?
Judge, as the court noted, she was sentenced on March 4, and has been noted by Mr. Sweeney, she has been in jail since at least April 28th. And here we are on June 6th, so that she's been in jail about as long as she's been on probation or out on probation. She was unsuccessful to begin with, but she did explain to me that the situation concerning her address was that she had a domestic issue that caused her to not have a residence. She was in a motel for a little while trying to find a place to live, and it was quite chaotic for her. I had a long conversation with her about, even though she is in a motel, she still needs to make sure her probation officer knows her whereabouts and addresses where she can be reached each and every night.
Here's a good way to know exactly where she's at. Just outright revoke her. If she has spent as much time in jail as she has out of jail during the first few months of her probation, just revoke her.
She would lay her head down. The probation officer needs to know where she is located at. Judge, she has not done anything, but from the date of March 4 until April 28 when she was picked up, there was some time, but not a lot of time to do her probation. She has now been in custody for some time on this PV. Judge, we would ask the court to consider the 3-day sanction and reinstate probation. And she has assured me that she will make sure Mr. Bauer knows her whereabouts at all time, and that shouldn't be a problem going forward. Thank you, Judge.
Are you suggesting that the court not impose a prospective sanction here?
No, we're asking the court to adopt Mr. Sweeney's recommendation that it be a 3-day prospective sanction.
All right. I understand your position now, Mr. Patterson. Thank you. Mr. Bauer, do you have anything to add here?
Your Honor, I discussed this with Mr. Sweeney, and I am in agreement, if the court sees so to do, to give her a sanction, put her back on probation. I really think that treatment is something she probably needs, and that I think we need to give her an opportunity to try to get that treatment if she's willing to do it now. She had that opportunity initially. If she's going to follow through with that, I'm in agreement with that, but she also needs to understand that this is going to be a very short leash, that, so to say, that I will be allowing. I'm not going to tolerate a whole lot of putting off getting the stuff done or failed UAs or anything like that without bringing her back in front of Your Honor.
Very well. Thank you, Mr. Bauer. This time the court will address April Lyman personally, and I'll ask her if she has any statements that she wishes to make in mitigation of punishment here.
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Lyman, where would you be living if you got out?
I'm not sure of it right now, as far as I know, with my best friend.
Okay.
But I'm not sure his address. I can get it to you as soon as I find it out.
All right. Ms. Lyman, the court has previously found that these are substantial and material violations of your probation. You have already received a 1-year jail sentence from the court. That would not be a new thing. At the time of your sentencing, you received a year in jail. However, the court did grant an alternative to it by giving you an opportunity for probation, an opportunity you have not yet seized in any way. So you've got a fundamental decision to make, Ms. Lyman. Either you're going to do the probation period or you're going to do the jail time. I don't know why you'd rather do the jail time than the probation, but if that's what you choose, the court will make the order. But I would rather you choose meeting your probation conditions and perhaps getting some treatment help as part of it. Going to see Mr. Bauer regularly and doing what he directs you to do and what he helps you with. The court will impose a 3-day jail sanction for noncompliance with terms and conditions, prospective from today. So she'll be released about this time on Monday, back on court services probation. Because sentencing was relatively recent, I don't see the need for an extension currently. She's on until March 4 of 2026 at this point. Any unsatisfied condition remains to be satisfied. Ms. Lyman, how do you financially get by?
Well, I would have to get a job. I had to get a new ID and everything because that was stolen from me in the house that I was living in on Olive Street that I'm no longer allowed. So I don't have a birth certificate, social security card, or an ID, but I'd have to get all that before I can get a job. So that'd be one of the main things after the assessment.
Well, you're obviously at a high degree of being financially challenged. The court notes that and will waive any additional attorney fee assessments. This doesn't relieve anything previously imposed, but I'm not going to add anything more to the obligations that have already been ordered to be paid in the case.
All right.
So what direction, Mr. Bauer, do you give April Lyman when she gets out on Monday?
Your Honor, I will be back in Butler on Wednesday of next week, June 11th. If she can come see me at 11:30 in the morning on June 11th, we will get her stuff going again.
Ms.
Yes.
Lyman, do you note that date and time?
Yes.
Next Wednesday, June 11th at 11:30 in the morning, you need to go see Mr. Bauer at his court services office in Butler County, okay?
Okay.
All right. Anything further on the Lyman matter, Mr. Patterson
No, Your Honor.
or Mr. Sweeney?
No, Your Honor.
Very well. Then the Lyman matter will be in recess at this time, and we'll move on to another matter on the docket.
Thank you, Judge. If I could be excused.
You are excused at this time, Mr. Patterson.
Have a good weekend.
You too.
Okay, good afternoon, Mr. Devaney.
Good afternoon, Judge.
How are you?
Doing well, doing well.
Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you.
So I think we're ready to start now with first appearance docket. And I have several in custody. I don't know if we need an interpreter. Do you know, Mr. Devaney, on any of these?
I have no knowledge, Your Honor.
Okay.
We do not. I don't believe so.
Okay. Well, the first one on my list is Anthony Michael Alfaro Jr., and that's 24 CR 371. So let's just start with that one. And Mr. Alfaro, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So Mr. Watts, is he supposed to have an attorney here?
Not for first appearances generally. It'd just be notified of why he's here today, and we would just approve or set a bond for those individuals and then handle any remaining issues such as court-appointed counsel.
Oh, I'm showing that maybe he had Mr. Watts at the last hearing.
He did previously, and certainly I'd recommend that he be reappointed to the case.
Okay, because this is on a violations.
Yes.
Okay, so Mr. Alfaro, have you had an opportunity to contact an attorney?
No, ma'am.
Do you need an attorney appointed, or can you afford to hire your own attorney?
I can't afford nothing.
Okay, are you not employed?
No, ma'am.
When was the last time you were employed?
Well, over 30 years ago.
Okay, what?
Been dealing with my mental illness.
Okay. Do you receive any disability?
No, ma'am. No money.
Well, I do see that Mr. Watts had been appointed in the past on this case. Mr. Alfaro, first of all, I want to make sure you understand what the purpose of today's hearing is. The state has filed a request for revocation of your probation. They are alleging failure to pay costs, fines, failure to pay any of your fees, and that there was another violation occurring of the law occurring on March 3rd of this year for possession of methamphetamine, that you failed to complete the drug and alcohol evaluation, and then there are some other comments listed as well.
It all costs money to do, Your Honor.
Okay. You understand what the violations are, though, that are alleged?
They're all fabricated to
Okay,
send me away, I guess.
okay.
Because I can't afford none of that. All that costs money. He knows it. Even the UA, I got to pay for a UA. I can't pay for a UA. I don't have no income.
All the charges are fabricated against you just to send you away? Sir, you say that as if you weren't caught with it on you.
He knows this.
Okay. Well, if I'm going to appoint Mr. Watts to represent you, so don't say anything further about whether you agree or don't agree with the violations. I want you to talk to your attorney first, okay?
Thank you.
But I just wanted to make sure you understood why the motion was filed and the reasons.
I don't.
Okay. So, let's
I asked
see.
for treatment.
What?
Sorry.
Okay. So the next hearing on this one, Mr. Devaney, where do we need to put this on a?
This will be on Judge Ricke's warrant to show cause docket on June 6th
Okay,
at
I see
2:30.
it. Yeah, June 6th, and that'll be at 2:30. So your attorney will be notified about this, Mr. Alfaro, and make sure that you are available to talk with him if you should make bond. I think your bond is currently set at 5,000 cash or surety.
Could you lower it?
Mr. Devaney?
Your Honor, traditionally, the judge that sets the warrant to show cause bond, that it certainly can be amended here at first appearances, but normally those are honored.
I have no income anyway. No family.
Well, since this is on a warrant to show cause alleging violations, Mr. Alfaro, I'm going to leave the bond set as the previous judge had ordered, and that's 5,000 cash or surety. If you should make bond, make sure that you make yourself available to your attorney, and also you'll need to reappear in the courthouse on that date, June 6th at 2:30. Okay, we'll be in recess on your case.
Mr. Watts looks like he's ready on both cases.
Good
Or is
afternoon,
he?
Your Honor. I have, I think, one who is Ms. Dennis. Don't believe I have any other.
You were
If I
appointed
missed
on
it.
Anthony Alfaro Jr. back on February 5.
Okay.
Let me look and see what subsequent
Oh,
notes would
hang
indicate.
on. Let me go get it.
All right. Mr. Watts, I think I might be able to assist here. The order I was referring to for warrant to show cause was back on February 5. There was a subsequent hearing on those allegations later in February with you representing the defendant. There was a first appearance before Judge Hutchison on May the 7th on this more recent set of allegations for Mr. Alfaro. The allegations were read. The defendant stated they are all fabricated and they all cost money and he doesn't work. And then the hearing was set on those allegations by Judge Hutchison before this court.
Okay.
I see no reference to appointment of counsel. I don't know why. but that may help explain why you weren't aware. Anthony Alfaro?
Yes, sir.
I actually, is that 24 CR 371?
That is correct.
Okay, I actually do have that file in front of me. And the show cause, so perhaps we can go ahead and take it up. I'll need to meet with Mr. Alfaro. I have spoke with Ms. Dennis, who is at court security, and I can take that one up right now.
Okay. Well, I hate to make the jail wait, but if we've got a case ready to present, then I want to address it. So we will shift. Mr. Alfaro, just be patient with us. We'll get back to you.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's set up a breakout session between Mr. Alfaro and Mr. Watts. I'll just ask Mr. Sweeney and Mr. Bauer to be patient. Thank you, gentlemen.
It should be ready for you guys.
Yep.
Randy, if we can resume recording and broadcasting.
Judge, I never took it off. I'm sorry.
Very well, then we will continue by calling State of Kansas versus Anthony Michael Alfaro Jr. It's case number 2024, CR 371. Brett Sweeney appearing for the State of Kansas. James Watts as defense counsel. Mr. Alfaro from the jail Zoom location. This matter comes before the court at this time for a review of this defendant's probation pursuant to a warrant to show cause alleging probation violation. The allegations include Mr. Alfaro not making any payments, not providing proof of a drug and alcohol evaluation, not updating his telephone number, testing presumptive positive for methamphetamine, has not gained employment, was convicted on new charges. What announcement is made at this time, Mr. Watts?
Your Honor, it's got the matter with my client. It's my understanding he would stipulate to the violations, that he'd not made any payments, done the drug and alcohol evaluation, has not updated his phone number. The reality is he doesn't have a phone to update. He did test positive for methamphetamine, although there was no confirmation of that. And again, and this is going to be a theme, Your Honor, that confirmation costs money that he does not have. He's not gained employment. He's been a long-term incarcerated in his prior history, so it's very difficult to get employment in a community where you are a long-term recent release from the Department of Corrections. And of course, he's obviously would stipulate to new charges. Those are coming up for sentencing shortly. He had not made any payments. Judge, the recurring issue for Mr. Alfaro in this case is a very simple one. His house has no water, no electricity. He has no transportation. He's riding a bike. He has no income. He has no ability really to get that income, in that his status as an ex-convict is very difficult to get employment. And all the things they're asking him to do, for the most part, require him to have some income that he simply does not have. As I mentioned for a moment ago, updated his phone number. He can't update his phone number. He doesn't have a phone. So he would stipulate to the violations. We would also note he is a trustee there in the jail. He's working on a GED there. I think, in fact, completed a GED there. He's got going to AA and NA, so there is some hope there. But he would stipulate to the violations.
Very well. Mr. Alfaro.
Yes,
your
sir.
Attorney has indicated that you would now waive any formal due process hearing that you'd be entitled to, where the state would have the obligation of proving these allegations by a preponderance of the evidence. You would have the right to present your own evidence, challenge the state's evidence with the assistance of your lawyer, confront the state's witnesses unless good cause was shown, and among other lesser remedies, the court could consider just an outright revocation of your probation and having you serve the remaining balance of the 12-month jail sentence that you're currently under. So, is it your intention to waive a formal hearing in this case and stipulate and agree that you committed these violations, which the court outlined earlier? Anthony? Mr. Alfaro, I will need a response.
We will be too. I don't know what to do. I'm a city and county probation.
You're
I have
on,
an ex-con. They
Okay.
want me to do treatment, mental health. They want me to pay for the UAs. If I can't pay for them, they're dirty automatically. They want me to pay the fines. The city's on me for my house not being the code, sir. All the things that they want me to do is what they want. You did order them, sir, and I don't mean no disrespect by no means. All due respect, sir. But there's so many things they want me to do. I don't have the money for them. I'm not trying to, I'm just burnt. I'm stressed. And yeah, I smoked the week before that UA. I don't know how it became dirty. It was a week and a half before me, sorry. But I did smoke because I was stressed out. And I just, sir, all due respect, I just don't know what else to do. I got all this time hanging on me. I don't hurt nobody. I'm not trying to hurt nobody. And what you see is this is me. I want a new life, and I can't have a life here because I keep getting in trouble. And it's little petty shit that keeps building up. And sir, all due respect, but I don't know what to do. But sit here in jail. That's all I ever done was do time for people that want me to do this and that and this. And I don't hurt nobody. But other than that, sir, all I can do is be at your mercy.
Okay, well, we were at an earlier stage than disposition, Mr. Alfaro.
Yes, sir.
Your attorney announced that you intend to waive a hearing and
Yes,
agree
sir.
that you committed these violations.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And you agree with your attorney's statement, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Court does find that there's been a voluntary waiver of a hearing in this case and that the defendant does stipulate and agree that he committed the violations. These are substantial material violations of the terms and conditions of Mr. Alfaro's probation. Before I take any formal recommendations, I wish to inquire, Mr. Sweeney, do you have a handle on how many accrued jail time days this defendant has?
Your Honor, I don't know that I have a handle on that, considering that it was a misdemeanor that this was pled to. And I don't believe that an accumulation of jail time credit was put in to that misdemeanor journal entry. I can tell the court that it looks like, now I know he's got the other case that's set for sentencing on the 26th in front of Judge Hart. But he did have a first appearance on this warrant to show cause on May 7th. I'm sure the court has that in the court's file as well. So it looks like at least probably 30 days or so, 29, 30 days with a hold on this case. So that's about what I can say for sure.
All right. Well, my docket notes indicate from October 30 of 2024, I made a note that he had approximately 3 months jail time credit then.
Your Honor.
Yes, Mr. Bauer.
Based on the records I have, when he went into custody, I put it into our system and he was picked up on this warrant only. So this time has only been on this case. And based on that, I show he's got 33 days of credit on this show cause warrant.
All right. Thank you.
Prior to that, I am not sure.
Recommendations regarding an appropriate disposition, Mr. Sweeney.
Thank you, Your Honor. Well, to the court's question, essentially, Mr. Bauer and I had a discussion about Mr. Alfaro's case prior to today's hearing. And I think generally what I took from that is not real optimistic that he would ever, well, I don't know. Not optimistic that maybe he would succeed on this probation. But he does have the felony sentencing coming up in front of Judge Hart, in which I believe a departure motion has just been filed. That's set for June 26th. So what Mr. Bauer and I had talked about was doing or asking the court rather to do a modification to a modified sentence that would end on June 26th. With whatever jail time credit that is, and it sounds like maybe he had about 3 months plus an additional, it sounds like Mr. Bauer was thinking 33 days. That would be a massive modification. off an original 12-month sentence. But then he could make a departure motion, and I don't know what will happen there, but he's an A on the grid. And but I just think with that pending felony coming up, that may be a way to close this case out for what we see has been an unsuccessful probation.
Mr. Wallace, I'm interested in how you see this proposal.
Judge, I'll be honest with you, I think that's a very fair proposal. He is up for sentencing in the other case on March 26th. We'll be filing a departure motion in that case. As you might guess, it's a departure that's a little bit of an uphill battle for the circumstances we've just talked about right here today. I won't pretend otherwise. I have no idea what Judge Hart's going to do on that case, of course, but frankly, it sounds to me like a relatively reasonable outcome. If Judge Hart would grant the departure, it would give him an opportunity to get a fresh start at that time with a felony probation and a drug treatment program as part of that. If he does
What is
not,
the primary crime there?
that is a possession of opiate. I don't remember what the
Okay.
underlying offense was. Hang on one moment, I can tell you.
It's possession of meth.
Methamphetamine, possession of meth, yeah. So if the court would not grant the departure, he would end up at the Department of Corrections in any case.
What's his bond status in that case, Mr. Watts?
Judge, he's obviously in custody in this case right now. I don't know that he'd made bond in that case. It's a $2,000 cash or surety. I was out when they actually pled on that case. Mr. Favre took that case. I was out that short when my mom had passed away. So I was not here at that time.
Sorry to hear that, Mr. Watt.
That was back in March.
Sorry to hear that.
So I didn't take the plea. Mr. Favre did.
Your Honor,
Mr. Bauer.
Mr. Alfaro made bond on that felony case.
Okay.
And then later this warrant was issued and he was picked up on this. So he is on bond in that case.
Okay.
This time the court will address the defendant, Anthony Alfaro, personally and ask him if he has any further statements that he wishes to make in mitigation of punishment. Mr. Alfaro?
I just ask, thank you for your time and hearing the case and looking at all the evidence. And I just ask for a chance, one more chance. That's all.
All right. Mr. Alfaro, I'll just make a couple of observations here.
Yes, sir.
Part of the problem you have with employability and things like that are, of course, because of you and your judgments in the past.
Yes,
And
sir.
unfortunately, they're still following you around. And I'm sure it is very difficult for a convicted felon, especially somebody with an A-box record, to get a good job, to support themselves.
There's good people out there.
I have no doubt, Mr. Alfaro. Further, your continued involvement with illegal street drugs disturbs me some. I understand the stresses you're under, but you have to deal with stress that's not dealing with illegal street drugs. And apparently the indications are you're still being involved with it. That troubles the court, certainly. However, Mr. Alfaro, with all of the lamenting that you've done before the court, perhaps very justifiable, I actually believe you. I think you're being straight with the court about what your situation is. Again, a bed of your own making, but nevertheless, a very difficult one to lie in. And this court is inclined to enter an order that I'm not sure I've ever entered into in 20 years on the bench. And I even question whether in a technical sense, all would agree that it's a proper sentence. But I also recognize, counsel, the possibility of a continuance of the felony sentencing. And I'm simply not comfortable letting Mr. Alfaro out until his felony case is resolved through sentencing. Now, this court will observe that he's probably served about 4 months of a 12-month controlling sentence. Therefore, if this felony sentencing takes place anytime in the next 8 months, it would be covered by the original sentencing order. However, this court will grant relief under KSA 223716, and I will modify the sentence that when Judge Hart or another district judge pronounces sentence in the felony case, I will terminate this case. I will consider this case fully served. And I know that the net effect of that, Mr. Alfaro, might mean that you get probation from Judge Hart and you get another chance. But I don't want you tied up in this case's jail sentence when you have an opportunity perhaps for some treatment program in the community. That is, of course, that's what Judge Hart feels is in the interest of justice. And with you being in the A box, I kind of agree with Mr. Watts. It's a fair assessment that I think that's going to be an uphill battle. But nevertheless, you should have that opportunity to make that argument in felony court and to benefit from whatever sentence that is imposed that might be mitigated to some degree. So I don't like the uncertainty of the time that I'm requiring here, but I'm just going to have him held up to 12 months in the county jail, but certainly no longer than that, or until Judge Hart actually pronounces sentence in his felony case. At that point, when that sentence is pronounced, this case is terminated as far as jail sanction is concerned, and his case will be closed. The court will also, after some reconsideration of this defendant's financial circumstances, will remove any bids assessments from his ledger. This court originally imposed $350 in bids assessments. Those are removed. Those are no longer due and payable. That needs to be reflected by the journal entry stemming from today, Mr. Sweeney.
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything else that was assessed at time of original sentencing that's not paid remains. I'm only taking off the bids assessments.
Okay.
And those are immediately due and payable and can be sent to collections.
So, Your Honor, no new fees, and then the initial bids fees are removed, but
that is correct.
Okay.
That is correct. I don't know what that leaves as far as his balance. Tony, can you tell us that? I mean, I don't know if he made any payments on the case or not.
There's not been any payments on the case, so
Okay.
that would just leave the court costs and court service fee, the $60
Yes.
probation fee.
Okay. Well, those still remain on his ledger to be collected. Someday you're going to have to pay him, Mr. Alfaro. Hope you've got a good job in the community someday and you can pay everything.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
It can happen. I've seen it before.
Yes.
And you're way too young to give up on yourself.
Thank you.
All right. I think that's a fairly simple order. Mr. Watts, do you need any further clarification or need for additional rulings?
Your Honor, thank you.
Mr. Sweeney, I do appreciate your reasonable position that you and Mr. Bauer have taken regarding this case. It does seem to make good practical sense to address the case in the manner that we have. But do you have any further need for rulings from the court at this time, Mr. Sweeney?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Bauer, essentially, I've taken you out of this case. You can essentially close your file on Mr. Alfaro. And Mr. Alfaro, I still think you can make it out there in the real world.
Thank you.
And I hope you get that opportunity someday
Thank you.
and seize that opportunity. So I'll remand his custody back to the Butler County Jail until such point in time that Judge Hart has actually imposed a felony sentence in his pending felony case.
It really irritates me when people are like, I can't work, I have a felony. That doesn't actually stop you from every job that exists. This guy said in the first hearing that he hasn't worked for 30 years. I don't know when he initially became a felon, but you know what? it all comes down to how badly you want to change your life. And clearly he doesn't want to because he's still on that bubble. But, I mean, look at people like JD Delay. He's a famous YouTuber now, and he's amazing. And he talks about what goes on in the prison systems. He talks about, his experiences. He's really big on, all pedophiles go in the wood chipper. And I fully support that. Look at Dog the Bounty Hunter. There's Jelly Roll. There's people, Tom MacDonald. Just because you have a felony, it doesn't mean that your life is over and you can't do anything. It just means you have to try a little harder.
All right. And I'm sure the jail may be calling me about this at some point. Who knows? I'll try to clarify it for him. And good luck in the drafting of an appropriate provision in the journal entry, Mr. Sweeney. I know that you'll use all of your creative writing talents to carry out the intent of the court.
I'll try, Your Honor. Thank you.
I know you will. If there's nothing further then,
Thank you,
the
sir.
Michael Alfaro Jr. matter is currently in recess. Court will take up State of Kansas versus Marie Elizabeth Dennis, case number 2024 CR 217. Brett Sweeney appearing for the state, James Watts as defense counsel, Marie Dennis appearing from a court security monitored location at the Butler County Judicial Center by Zoom. This matter comes before the court at this time for hearing on allegations that probation conditions have been violated by Ms. Dennis. Apparently, these allegations include the defendant failing to report as directed, and also unsuccessful discharge from alcohol and drug treatment, as alleged by Ms. Ashenfelter from Community Corrections. There's also an addendum to the original warrant, apparently alleging that the defendant was arrested for possession of opiate and possession of paraphernalia in Cedric County, and that she didn't notify her ISO of that, and that the defendant possessed a syringe with liquid methamphetamine per the Cedric County Sheriff case number. What announcement is made regarding Marie Dennis's case, Mr. Watts?
Judge, as to the original allegations of the warrant to show cause dated April 29, it's my understanding my client would agree that she failed to report on February 20 and the subsequent February 26 date. Would stipulate to that violation. She would also acknowledge that on February 27, she was unsuccessfully discharged from alcohol and drug treatment. She would note she is currently has a bed date for Monday to begin again that alcohol and drug treatment at Cherry Creek in Wichita. As to the addendums, my client would not acknowledge or stipulate that she failed to notify her ISO of law enforcement contact. In fact, her position is that she made contact with her probation officer immediately upon bonding out. It was one of the first things she did on bonding out on that case. And of course, she will not be stipulating possessing anything as a result of that incident as well.
All right, Mr. Sweeney, how does the state wish to proceed here?
Your Honor, the state is willing to proceed on the allegations that have been stipulated to. I might just briefly ask for the court's allowance to call Ms. Ashenfelter for some elaboration on what's been stipulated to, but I'm willing to proceed on that.
Very well. Apparently, the state wishes to call Ms. Ashenfelter for some brief testimony. Ms. Ashenfelter, if you join us fully and raise your right hand. You do solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give in the matter now in hearing shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God.
I do.
Mr. Sweeney.
Okay, thank you. Just briefly state your name for the court, please, ma'am.
Christy Ashenfelter.
And Ms. Ashenfelter, who you work for?
13th Judicial Community Corrections.
Okay, and Ms. Ashenfelter, Miss Marie Dennis came on to probation with you at what point, what date?
She was sentenced in January of this year, and then she was transferred to me shortly after that.
Okay, and in your warrant application, you listed that she failed to appear on a date in February. Is that accurate?
Yes.
What date was that?
February 20th.
Okay. Did she ever appear in your office or make communication with you after that date?
No, not until May of this year.
Okay, and was that February date? What was that, an intake date?
No, her intake would have been earlier with Deputy Director Kelly.
Okay. She didn't make contact with you again and then until May?
Correct. I met with her at the office during her intake and gave her a reporting card and date.
Okay.
From there.
Were you made aware or did you facilitate the treatment that's been reported here today? The new treatment?
No.
Okay. I don't think I have any further questions for Ms. Ashenfelter.
Mr. Watts, do you have additional questions for the witness?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Do you intend to present any further evidence, Mr. Sweeney?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Watts, do you?
Judge, just on one thing, and I'll call Ms. Dennis.
All right, Ms. Dennis, you've been called as a witness by your attorney. If you'll raise your right hand, at this time I'll administer an oath to you. You do solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give in the matter now in hearing shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God.
I do.
You may proceed, Mr. Watts.
Ms. Dennis, I'm only going to ask you about one thing. It was obviously your surprise, and after our conversation, my surprise. You're entering a facility on Monday, correct?
Yes, sir.
What facility is that?
Cherry Creek
Where is that?
in Wichita.
Have you informed or cooperated or worked with your probation officer regarding that treatment facility?
I told her at our last meeting that I had a bed date for Monday.
Okay. Did you give her any paperwork or documents regarding that facility?
No, but I don't have any myself to give to her.
Okay. Was she involved at all in arranging that facility entry?
She said she just wanted me to go to treatment. It didn't matter where I went as long as I went.
Okay. I have nothing else, Your Honor. Thank you.
Mr. Sweeney, any questions for the witness?
No, Your Honor.
All right. And any further evidence that you wish to present, Mr. Watts?
Not at this time, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay. Closing remarks here and recommendations, Mr. Sweeney?
Your Honor, I'll just say this. It's the recommendation of the state that she serve the underlying sentence. This was a departure case from its genesis, meaning that, the legislature, when it enacted these departures and how they were going to interact with probation violations, didn't require diffs and sanctions of that sort. And I think the reason is clear. It's just they've been down this road before, and for that reason it kind of had to fly straight, and unfortunately it doesn't look like Ms. Dennis has, and for that reason the state's recommending revocation and serve the underlying balance of her sentence.
All right. Is there anything that you would add to that, Ms. Ashenfelter?
No, Your Honor. I agree with the state.
All right. Mr. Watts, your recommendations regarding an appropriate disposition here.
Judge, I would agree that there needs to be a sanction here, and it needs to be a relatively significant one. This is not a call for a dip. This is a call for a sanction in the 2-week to 30-day range. A significant sanction, a significant county jail time. But this is not a time, in my opinion, to throw out the baby in the bathwater and everything else. Is she in violation? She is. And are those violations significant? They are. But she is also taking steps to remedy those violations with the entry at Cherry Creek. I'm afraid, although my client would like to enter that on Monday, I think that's probably not realistically likely because we all recognize there has to be a sanction at this point. The question is the severity of that sanction. We would recommend, as I said, something in the 2-week to 30-day range in the county jail, and that to begin immediately. rather than simply remand to custody.
The recommendation is noted, counsel. What time on Monday was she really supposed to report to this facility in Wichita?
But will it be effective?
Ms. Dennis?
11 a.m.
All right, Ms. Dennis, the court will address you personally and ask you if you have any statements that you wish to make in mitigation of punishment or anything further that you would like to present to the court.
I would just like to apologize. I know you gave me a big break back, at our last court, and I failed. But I'm trying to make things right.
Why didn't you try after your sentencing, Ms. Dennis?
Because when I first missed the first original and rescheduled with her on my meetings, when it came down to it, like after the one, I got scared. And my first reaction is to run, and normally that's what I do, is run. I don't face my problems, and I'm trying to do that now as an adult. I should have been doing this a long time ago. I'm just a little bit late, and I'm sorry for taking advantage of the situation.
Well, you're about 4.5 months late, actually, in getting your probation started appropriately.
I understand that.
Court looks back at this point at its docket notes from the sentencing. The sentence was for possession of methamphetamine, a level 5 drug felony. I think she was in the E-box. She received a 20-month DOC sentence. Dispositional departure was granted. Obviously, treatment being the focal point of that dispositional departure. I did make a specific statement. Defendant advised that no intermediate sanctions would be required if she faces a warrant to show cause. And here we are, facing a warrant to show cause, which stem from probation violations. Ms. Dennis, I don't know what's going to happen with this Sedgwick County case number 2025-001-7835. The suggestion before the court is that you're in further trouble over there, but that's not been stipulated to, and the state's proceeded without those allegations. The court will just make the finding those were not litigated or dealt with in any way. So they remain. I have severe reservations about this, Ms. Dennis, but I do look at what your crime of conviction was in this case, and it was possession of the dangerous street drug of methamphetamine. Society profits if you beat this habit, but you have to want to do it, and you're going to have to follow through. And I'm not going to say for 1 minute any of it's going to be easy, but if there is an actual treatment bed available to you, I want you in that treatment bed. Court is going to order a sanction period of what will be functionally of approximately 3 days, but I do want her released in time to make her 11 o'clock appointment on Monday for the treatment facility. What would your transportation be over there, Ms. Dennis?
My dad will take me.
He'll be at the jail to pick you up at, say, 10 o'clock?
Yes, sir.
And get you over there by 11?
Yes.
All right, I'll authorize her release at 10 o'clock a.m. on Monday morning. At that point, she'll be reinstated on community corrections. Ms. Dennis, I hope you understand this is the last reinstatement you're going to likely get from this court.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to waste the valuable resources of community correction supervision on somebody who doesn't want to take advantage of the program.
I understand.
I can have Ms. Ashenfelter doing other things. So you will report to her as directed. Now, I presume that you can make phone calls from the treatment facility.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to want you to call Ms. Ashenfelter when you get there and get checked in. So sometime during that day, you tell them that the court ordered you to call your community corrections officer. And I trust, Ms. Ashenfelter, you would be there and available for a call on Monday at your office?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, does she have your number?
Yes.
Marie, you have that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'm going to require you to call her. I want you, if she asks for any details regarding your program, location, how long you're expected to be in there, whatever it might be. She may have a whole series of questions she needs to ask you. So once you get checked in there on Monday, you need to call Christy Ashenfelter and fill her in on any of these new developments. Dennis, you need to complete this treatment program. You can't go into this run mode that you seem to suggest that anytime pressure's on, you want to run. You run again, you come back before this court, you're likely going to be doing about 1.5 years in prison. And I don't know if you want to be there. Any unsatisfied condition of the original community corrections probation orders remains to be satisfied if at this point they are unsatisfied. In light of the fact that Ms. Dennis is going to go into a treatment program, the court's not going to assess additional fees. I just don't think it's feasible for this court to expect that we can add more at this point. So I'll waive any additional bids assessments on this round of proceedings. Anything previously ordered, though, obviously remains. All right. The original sentencing order was January of 2025. 12 months probation. Ms. Ashenfelter, do you see the need for an extension at this point?
No, Your Honor, I can do one in the future if needed.
All right. I think that's the proper approach. All right, Ms. Dennis, you have any questions about the court's orders?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm ordering you into custody at the Butler County Jail until release time, 10:00 a.m. on Monday, so that she can report to her inpatient treatment facility, which I presume this is an inpatient facility, right?
Yes, it is.
At 11:00 a.m. on Monday. Reinstatement of community corrections at that juncture. All right. Mr. Watts, anything further we need to address here?
I believe so, Your Honor. Ms. Alfaro, I would tell your treatment provider, if there are any documents for your entry, you need to be prepared to provide those to Ms. Ashenfelter.
Okay.
And she's Miss Dennis, by the way, but
I'm sorry. Oh, what'd I say?
you said Alfaro, but
Oh, I'm looking at the other file right in front of me.
understood, Mr. Watson.
Well, they would make a great couple. They've got so much in common already.
I just want
I'm
the
sorry.
record to be clear. Mr. Sweeney, is there anything further we need to address?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Ashenfelter, do you need any further clarification from the court at this time?
No, Your Honor.
Last but not least, Ms. Dennis, you have any questions about what we've done here?
No, Your Honor.
All right, you're going to go into custody at this time until
Thank
Monday
you.
at 10:00 a.m. There's nothing further. The Marie Dennis matter will be in recess. And I think that concludes the docket. Do you agree, Mr. Sweeney?
Yes, Your Honor.
Very well. Then the meeting may be ended for all at this time.
And good afternoon, everyone. This is the time set for first appearances. First case is State of Kansas versus Stanley Kent Turwart, 25 TR 1277. Good afternoon, Mr. Turwart. Sir, you're charged by way of information on or about June 5, 2025 in Butler County, Kansas, with driving while a habitual violator, a Class A non-person misdemeanor. Count 2, you're charged, same date and location, tag violation, an unclassified non-person misdemeanor. And Mr. Turwart, do you understand the charges pending against you?
I think so.
Mr. Turwart, you do have the right to counsel if you cannot afford an attorney. One would be appointed to represent you. Sir, are you currently employed?
Yes.
What type of work do you do?
Hard surface flooring, like tile and custom showers.
Okay. And are you gainfully employed full-time, 40 hours a week?
Yes.
Okay. Approximately what's your rate of compensation?
Each weekly.
Are you self-employed?
No.
No. Okay.
It's about 800 weekly.
800 weekly.
Yeah.
And do you have any money saved up to hire an attorney?
Well, I had just bought a vehicle and I don't have it. I mean, I have a little bit saved up, yeah, but not enough for an attorney, no.
Okay. Based on your lack of current financial wherewithal, the court does appoint counsel to represent you. Court does appoint Darren Patterson to represent you at all stages of the proceedings. Darren Patterson is appointed to represent you all stages of the proceedings. The court sets your next appearance date before Judge Webster on Monday, August 11, 2025 at 8 a.m. Monday, August 11, 2025, 8 a.m. That will be by Zoom at that time. Yes.
Is there any chance for a reduced bond or OR bond? I know I have
That's
other.
That's the next matter of business that we'll take up.
Oh, sorry.
Is your bond. What is your current address?
This. I don't know it by heart, but I just moved in, and I'm probably not going to stay there apparently. But it's right here in Andover.
Okay.
It's at the address I got pulled over at.
Okay. And do you have any family that reside in Butler County, Kansas?
No, not anymore.
Okay.
I'll probably, if possible, I'll probably just move in with my girlfriend. Yeah, I mean, that was really what, I mean, I hadn't made any plans yet, but this is gonna make it a lot faster.
This guy has a girlfriend. I'm sitting over here single, y'all. And this guy has a girlfriend.
I'm figuring it out.
Okay. So, and where does she reside?
Park City.
Okay. Recommendation for bond from the state, Mr. Sweeney?
Your Honor, the state's recommending $3,000 cash. He had 4 open warrants from other jurisdictions when he got picked up. So it sounds like he does have other holds on him. He's got some criminal history, but given his residency status and then just the fact that he's got so many open cases, I think that's appropriate.
Thank you, Mr. Sweeney. Mr. Turwart, it appears to me that a surety bond is appropriate, and the court does order a $2,500 cash or surety bond. $2,500 cash or surety bond. So you know your next day, counsel's been appointed, your bond has been set. Sir, do you have any questions?
No.
There being nothing further, court is in recess. Have a good day.
Judge, can you?
Next cases are State of Kansas versus Joshua Edward Stiles, 24 TR 309. And the other case is 24 TR 2334. Good afternoon, Mr. Stiles.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Doing well. Mr. Stiles, in both cases, you've previously have failed to appear on April 28, 2025. At that point in time, Judge Webster ordered a no bond hold. Judge Webster ordered a no bond hold. Therefore, your case goes on the expedited misdemeanor control docket for Friday, July 18, 2025 at 1:30. Friday, July 18, 2025 at 1:30. The court notes that Mr. Patterson has previously been appointed to represent you, and he remains your court-appointed attorney. And Mr. Stiles, do you have any questions?
Yes, sir. Is there any way I could get a bond set for this, or is there no?
That would be something that would have to go back before the judge that set the no bond hold. And that would be Judge Webster. There'd have to be a motion before Judge Webster to change that no bond hold.
So previously, there was a discrepancy with the Zoom court, And so the last time I was here, the judge had said that everything was reinstated, that he had reinstated the bond as well as the attorney. Well, then in order for me to, so I should have just been released the last time. Well, I had to pay the bond over again the last time. I had to repay the bond, even though the judge said it was reinstated. So that's why I was wondering if that was maybe, you know, since I paid this bond twice now, and even though it was reinstated, I had to pay it again to be released the last time.
I'm excuse me for interrupting, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but I'm looking back through the trial docket notes. The trial notes indicate that on March the 5th, that the judge did reinstate your bond in the amount of $5,000 cash or surety. The problem you're running into now is the fact that on April 28, 2025, you failed to appear at that time. And that's why, and that's when Judge Webster ordered the current bond forfeiture bench warrant and no bond hold. So that's the reason why you're in the situation that you're in. And do you have anything further? Any questions?
I guess not, Your Honor.
Okay. There being nothing further, court is in recess. Have a good day, Mr. Stiles.
Thank you.
Next case for first appearance, State of Kansas versus Winter, Nicole Daniels, 25 CR 254. Good afternoon, Miss Daniels.
Hi.
Miss Daniels, you come before the court and the charge against you is brought by way of information. On or about June 5, 2025 in Butler County, Kansas, you're charged with domestic battery, a Class B person misdemeanor. This was as to a Christian Bach. B as in boy, A-U-C-K. That is the only charge pending against you. And do you understand the charge?
Yeah.
You do have the right to counsel. If you cannot afford an attorney, one would be appointed to represent you. Are you currently employed?
No.
How long has it been since you worked?
I stopped working whenever I found out I was pregnant, so it's been about 4 months now.
And do you have any money saved back to hire an attorney?
No.
Based on your lack of financial wherewithal, the court does appoint counsel to represent you. The court appoints Darren Patterson to represent you at all stages of the proceedings.
Okay.
Darren Patterson is appointed to represent you at all stages of the proceedings. The court sets your next appearance date on Monday, August 11, 2025 at 8 a.m. before Judge Webster. Monday, August 11, 2025, 8 a.m. before Judge Webster. You do need to be present by Zoom process at that time.
Okay.
Next item of business is to set appropriate bond for you. Ms. Daniels, what is your current address?
My current address is it's at 4 Mile Creek. I'm not sure exactly what the exact address is, but it's a lot 10 or 9 or something like that, I believe. It's in Augusta, or right outside Augusta. I can't remember the exact address. I had just moved there a few weeks ago with my young daughter and my boyfriend. My dad lives a couple lots away from us, which I would be going back to stay with my dad while all of this is going on. But
Okay, and those are travel trailer type of arrangements?
yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And your father's name is?
Wesley Bowie.
Wesley Bowie.
Yes.
Thank you. And do you have any other family that reside in Butler County, Kansas?
Not that I know of, just my dad.
Okay. Recommendation for bond, Mr. Sweeney?
Your Honor, the state is recommending $1,500 cash or surety, no contact with the victim in this case. The defendant mentioned that she may be pregnant. If it's the victim's child, the state wouldn't have an objection to him going to doctor's appointments with a third party present, but that's all I have, Your Honor.
Okay. The conditions of the bond are as set forth by Mr. Sweeney. Do you have any criminal history on Miss Daniels?
We don't, Your Honor. The strength of the evidence in the case is fairly strong. There were some marks on the defendant or on the victim's face, rather, that were corroborative of, an altercation. So there's that. But as far as convictions, I'll say no.
Thank you, Mr. Sweeney. Miss Daniels, the court is going to order a $1,500, and I'm going to order an OR bond on your own recognizance, based on the fact that you'll be living with your father at 4 Mile Creek Ranch. You're residing in Butler County. You have no prior convictions. So the court does approve a $1,500 OR bond.
Okay.
On your own recognizance. And the court does adopt all of the conditions of bond that Mr. Sweeney suggested to the court. Any other matters, Mr. Sweeney?
No, Your Honor.
And any questions, Ms. Daniels?
No, sir.
There being nothing further, court is in recess. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Next case on first appearance, State of Kansas versus Casey Jade Dunlap, 24 TR 870. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
You are present back before the court after you have failed to appear on December 11, 2024. At that point in time, Judge Webster ordered a no bond hold and bond forfeiture bench warrant. Subsequently, the court does find that Mr. Patterson was previously appointed to represent you, and the court retains that in force and effect. Subsequently, the court sets your appearance on Judge Judge Lee's expedited misdemeanor control docket, Friday, July 18, 2025 at 1:30. Friday, July 18, 2025, 1:30, before Judge Lee. You do need to be present at that time.
So I'll be in
pardon
here
me?
I'll be in here till July 18th, you said?
There's currently a no bond hold that's been ordered by, that's previously been ordered.
Okay.
And the court retains Mr. Patterson as your court appointed counsel. Anything further, Mr. Sweeney?
No, Your Honor.
Any questions, Mr. Dunlap?
So I gotta stay in here, right, till July 18th, till I see the judge?
Yes, until you see the judge. You might make inquiry motion through Mr. Patterson.
Then how do I get a hold of him?
You should be able to give him a phone call.
Okay.
I would think. Anything further?
No, that's it.
Court is in recess. Have a good day.
You too, thank you.
Next case on first appearance docket, State of Kansas versus James Tanner Daniel, 25 CR 256. Good afternoon, Mr. Daniel.
Good, sir.
Mr. Daniel, you're charged by way of information on or about July 5, 2025 in Butler County, Kansas, with violation of a protective order, a Class A person misdemeanor, This was as to a Brittany Stafford issued as a condition of probation in Butler County, case number 24 CR 441. Count 2, your charge, same date and location with domestic battery, class B person misdemeanor as to Brittany Stafford. Those are all the charges pending against you. Do you understand the charges?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Daniel, you do have the right to counsel if you cannot afford an attorney. One would be appointed to represent you. Mr. Daniel, are you currently employed?
After today, no, sir.
Do you have money saved back to hire an attorney?
No, sir.
Based on your lack of financial wherewithal, the court does appoint Darren Patterson to represent you at all stages of the proceedings. Darren Patterson is appointed to represent you at all stages of the proceedings. The court sets your next appearance date before Judge Webster on Monday, August 11, 2025 at 8 a.m. Monday, August 11, 2025, 8 a.m. before Judge Webster. You do need to be present by Zoom process at that point. The next item of business, the court needs to set appropriate bond for you. And Mr. Daniel, what is your current address?
In Derby, Kansas.
And how long have you resided there?
About 3 to 4 months.
Do you have any family that reside in Butler County, Kansas?
No, sir.
Where was your last place of employment?
Twister City, Harley Davidson.
And when did you last work there?
Yesterday.
Okay. Recommendation for bond, Mr. Sweeney?
Your Honor, I'm trying to determine whether or not a bond's already been set. I think I would have recommendations independent of whether or not there is. The state will go ahead and recommend $3,500 with GPS. It looks like he may currently be on probation out of Sedgwick County. Additionally, with an ankle monitor, maybe. Additionally, it looks like he was just sentenced on a 24 case criminal threat DV tag with the same victim. So as a condition of the state's bond request, the state would ask for no drugs and alcohol and then no contact with any of the victims or the witnesses in this case.
And the court failed to note case number 24 TR 1303. And yes, you are correct, Mr. Sweeney. There is an appearance bond with a surety in that case.
Okay.
And that was 2,000 surety bond. And the court does approve the same. And the court, what was your recommended bond on the 25 CR 256?
Your Honor, in the CR case, the state was recommending 3,500 cash or surety with a GPS and a no contact with the victims and witnesses. That's just basically given the fact that it sounds like there's very recent criminal cases with the same victim or an additional case with the same victim.
And the court does adopt in 25 CR 256, the recommended bond by the state. I believe that was 3,500 cash or surety, along with the conditions set forth by prosecution. And the bond has already been set in 24 TR 1303. And the court does appoint Darren Patterson in 25 CR 256. The court notes that Mr. Patterson has already been appointed in 24 TR 1303. So counsel's been appointed in all cases. Your bond has been set, subject to the terms and conditions of the respective bonds, and your new date is set before Judge Webster on Monday, August 11, 2025, 8 a.m., both cases. And that will be by Zoom. Any other matters, Mr. Sweeney?
No, Your Honor.
Anything further, Mr. Daniel?
No, sir.
Court is in recess. Have a good day, Mr. Daniel.
Thanks, sir. Good to go. Supposed to have travel court too.
And Judge,
Yes.
Mr. Courtney was released already, so he won't be on here today.
Okay, thank you, Angela. So, Brett, we're not taking up Shane, Leslie, Courtney.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. So he bonded out, I'm assuming?
Yes, he did. I have that in front of me one moment.
Thank you.
He bonded out for $6,500, and his new court date is June 13th.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Next case on first appearance docket, State of Kansas versus Donald Unruh. Case number is 25 FG6. Good afternoon, Mr. Unruh.
Good afternoon, sir.
And Mr. Unruh, you are charged by way of information with operating a vehicle under the influence, an unclassified non-person misdemeanor, count 1, and that allegedly took place on or about May 24, 2025 in Butler County, Kansas. Count 2, you're charged, same date and location, with registration violation, a Class C non-person misdemeanor. Those are the charges pending against you. Do you understand the charges?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Unruh, you do have the right to counsel. If you cannot afford an attorney, one would be appointed to represent you. Mr. Unruh, are you currently employed?
Yes, sir.
What type of work do you do?
I'm a field engineer for Lambton Welding in Wichita.
Okay. Are you full-time employed?
Yes, sir.
Are you paid an hourly wage?
No, sir.
Okay. Just approximately your annual income?
100,000.
Based on your financial wherewithal, the court finds you do not qualify for court-appointed counsel. You may retain whomever you wish to represent you.
Okay.
The court sets your next appearance date before Judge Webster on Monday, August 11, 2025 at 9 a.m. by Zoom. Monday, August 11, 2025, 9 a.m. by Zoom. You do need to be present at that time. The court has approved the $1,000 surety bond that you have posted herein. And the court does make inquiry to Mr. Sweeney. Would Mr. Unruh would he be eligible by chance for diversion?
I think potentially. I think the charge would be eligible. I can't speak specifically to what he's got in his record, so he'd have to make an application, but I think potentially yes.
Mr. Unruh, it's up to you, but while you're here at the Butler County Judicial Building, you may wish to go down to the county attorney's office, get whatever application you may need for what's called diversion. It may not be what you want to do. I'm not trying to provide you with legal advice, but while you're here and it's convenient, that might be something you would want to look into.
Okay. Can I ask a question?
Yes.
I wasn't read my Miranda rights or offered an attorney when I was arrested, and I gladly would have succumbed to a blood test with this because I really question the test that I was taking. And I'm sure everything was filmed, but at no point in time was I felt like I should have been offered the right to an attorney. And according to the paper here, that I could have gone to a facility and had a blood test or other testing done.
Hey, you may very well have a very valid defense. I don't know, based on just representation to the court at this first appearance.
Okay.
But the court does note that you have indicated you were not offered a blood test. The court notes that you were not advised of your Miranda rights.
Right. Okay.
And the court does note that your blood alcohol contact test, typically these are off of breath test, came
Right.
back a 0.093.
Yes, sir.
0.093. Okay. I think that we've got your next date set, Monday, August 11, 2025, 9 a.m. by Zoom. You may retain whomever you wish to represent you. You may wish to check on what's called the diversion program at the county attorney's office.
Okay.
And any other questions, Mr. Unruh?
No, I'm just questioning whether this would be eligible for dismissal due to the inconsistencies of the things that happened during the arrest. I'm a law-abiding citizen. This is all new to me. I don't even have a speeding ticket, so.
I got you. I understand. And I'm not going to try to give you any opinion or advice on it. It's not at that point that the court could do so. So that's what it is. Anything further, Mr. Sweeney?
No, Your Honor.
There being nothing further, court is in recess.
Okay.
And Mr.
Thanks,
Unruh,
sir.
have a good day. The security deputy down there can show you where the county attorney's office is if you want to take a look at that.
That'd be great. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Just slightly early on your motion to dismiss the case, although I really don't think you've got a snowball's chance in hell of getting it dismissed because you weren't read your Miranda rights. They only have to read those to you if they're asking you questions. So at best, you could get any statements made to the officers thrown out of court, but you're not going to get the entire case thrown out.
Yep. And it's just gonna be right down the hall, the very last door on the left.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Idea?
Hello.
Next case, the state of Kansas versus Christian Uriel Padilla. Case number 24 TR 2306. And sir, you're charged by way of information on or about April 27, 2024 in Butler County, Kansas, with no valid driver's license, a Class B non-person misdemeanor. That is the only charge pending against you. Do you understand the charge?
Yes.
Sir, you do have the right to counsel. If you cannot afford an attorney, one would be appointed to represent you. And sir, are you currently employed?
So I do my own. I'm self-employed, but right now it's kind of hit and miss, really slow.
Do you have money saved back for an attorney?
I'd have to look around, but I'm not too comfortable. Maybe most likely
Based
not.
on your lack of, based on your lack of financial wherewithal, the court does appoint Darren Patterson to represent you at all stages of the proceedings. Darren Patterson is appointed to represent you at all stages of the proceedings. Court sets your next appearance date before Judge Webster on Monday, August 11, 2025, 8 a.m. by Zoom. Monday, August 11, 2025, 8 a.m. by Zoom. You do need to be present by that process. The court has already approved your bond It's a surety bond in the amount of $1,000. Court does approve the same. So
Okay.
counsel's been appointed. Your next date has been established. Your bond has been accepted. Anything further, Mr. Sweeney?
No, Your Honor.
And Mr. Padilla, anything further?
Oh, no.
Court is in recess.
Thank you.
You're free to go. Have a good day.
You too. Have a good day. So it's through Zoom, but do I have to come back?
And next case is State of Kansas versus Anna Marie Jernigan, 25 CR 198. Good afternoon, Miss Jernigan. Can you hear me all right? Miss Jernigan, you're charged by way of information.
And Your Honor, if I may, I may be able to shed some light. The state, right, I guess, before first appearances, has decided to dismiss this case. So I don't know if that word has made it to the court yet, but that's the state's plan.
Thank you, Mr. Sweeney and Miss Jernigan. The court has been advised by the prosecution that the charges that have previously been filed are being dismissed. So you owe no further obligation to the court in regards to this case. So you have no further date to be present.
All right. Sorry to interrupt you, but does that mean on Thursday, June 12th at 3:30, I do not have to be down in El Dorado for the sheriff's department to process me?
That's correct. You do not have to do that now.
Okay.
You do not. You have no further obligation on this case to the court. No further obligation to the court on this case.
Okay.
You do not need to be present on June the 12th.
That's
Any
what we had
questions?
scheduled for her to get processed, Judge. That's why I told her she'll have to go to that.
Thank you, Johnny.
You bet.
Any questions, Ms. Jernigan? Is that a no?
That is a no.
Court is in recess. Have a good day.
All right, guys. Same. No. Oh, that was Judge Hart first appearances. There's probably like 5 left or something, but I'm really tired. So I am going to get some sleep, and I already have plans for tomorrow's cases. So I'll be able to get them edited right out. Hopefully I'll be able to do 2 lives tomorrow. Who knows? We'll see. But yeah. Thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out with me. I had so much fun. My goodness, you too. The weird sounds that these animals make. It's just amazing. Thank you so much, Buzzy Pug. All right, you guys. Be safe, be well, sleep sweet, and much love.